Greetings, brothers, sisters, siblings, friends, and comrades. The UE local here in North Carolina is a statewide local of public sector workers, mostly in state mental health facilities, universities, and city workers and municipalities. It's UE Local 150, the North Carolina Public Service Workers Union. And like many of you all, at the start of the pandemic last March, Local 150 launched a statewide Safe Jobs, Safe Lives campaign to fight against the worst impacts of the pandemic of coronavirus. And they launched into action by hosting a press conference and action at the governor's office and state capitol in Raleigh, demanding that the state institute universal paid sick days, PPE, safety protections, and hazard pay for all workers, not just our members. UE 150 initiated petition campaigns across the state in 16 counties where we have members to engage our workers in our workplaces. We collected over 900 signatures from workers in the state mental health facilities and nearly 1,000 signatures from state university workers. After workers at several facilities marched onto their directors and their bosses to deliver these petitions, we were able to force the state to amend their communicable disease policy to include COVID hazard premium pay, winning 25% and 50% hazard premium pay for all workers in the facilities that had positive COVID patients. These state mental health facilities are similar to nursing homes that were major hotspots for COVID infections. Sadly, 2 of our members and several other workers had passed away from COVID. Rest in power, Brother Adrian Grubbs, who was a sanitation worker in Raleigh, who was actually the second person in the state to die from COVID and was a former UE 150 steward. And also Tony Green, who was a preceptor, a trainer at Central Regional Hospital, who passed away after management refused to fit him for an N95 respirator while working with COVID patients. From that initial action, we were able to force the state of Department of Health and Human Services to meet and confer with our statewide UE 150 DHHS Council mental health worker leaders every 3 months through the pandemic. Through continued actions, including a statewide sticker day on April 4th to commemorate Dr. King's stand with striking city workers, nearly 1,000 public workers across the state wore Safe Jobs, Save Lives stickers on the job. They were able to secure daily clean new masks and gowns and options for workers to wear their own N95 masks. However, at the end of January of 2021 this year, the state ended hazard premium pay. After this, workers who had been working in these very stressful times through the pandemic felt underappreciated, and we began to see many workers, such as healthcare technicians and nurses, quit, creating alarmingly huge vacancy rates. And some units in the facilities were still 50% of the positions are still vacant, meaning workers are forced to work mandatory overtime shifts, 16 hours a day. Some facilities shifted to 12-hour shifts. We are still facing a major understaffing crisis, and we recently got a public records request back showing that all facilities have at least 100 healthcare technician and nurse vacancies. In early April of this year, the Central Regional Hospital chapter of UE 150 organized a successful protest outside of their facility, drawing 50 workers at shift change to rally. They organized a follow-up action a month later as well. During these rallies, they were able to build enough critical momentum and actually were able to have a new chapter election of new officers, and we're able to elect a really active, new, exciting leadership that has been doing tons of outreach to their coworkers to build the union. The newly elected chapter president, Rakesh Patel, and chief steward, Jessica Gazzo, who is a pharmacy technician, have been 2 of the most active workers, including spending 12 hours with me on a burning hot summer day last month outside of the hospital, recruiting their coworkers at a union table. Over the course of the 2 weeks that followed, they signed up 70 new members. The hospital bosses tried to intimidate each of them with bogus documented counselings and bad performance evaluations, but they have not backed down. I want to recognize the rank and file leadership of UE Local 150 President Sakia Royal, who is a state mental health worker, as well as UE Local 150 DHHS Council Chairperson Peggy Price and Cherry Hospital President William Young for their hard work in these campaigns. And here to tell the story is Rakesh and Jessica.
Rakesh Patel. I'm one of the medical physicians at Central Regional Hospital. I also happen to be the president of the Butner chapter of UE 150, and I wanted to talk about our most recent success with signing up 70 new members over the course of 2 weeks.
Hi, I'm Jessica Gazo. I am the chief steward of the Butner chapter, and I work in the pharmacy on third shift.
We had our sign-up day on July 14th, Bastille Day, and it was a very successful day where we signed up around 50 members, and subsequent to that, signed up another 20 more in the next 2 weeks. And I think COVID-19 has sort of made everyone acutely aware of how fragile healthcare is and how fragile the workplace is. And we kind of joined up with the Safe Jobs, Safe Lives campaign that was started in March. We met with the CEO twice that year, and we had a couple of petitions, I think, which really got everyone motivated to talk about the issues. And we wanted to make sure that the hospital was providing us with the proper PPEs, making sure the patients were tested, making sure there was a lot more transparency than we're used to. And then March, some of us decided it was time to formalize our involvement with the union, and we ran for offices, and was elected president. And I think my fellow officers, including Dr. David Bartholomew, Pam Duwark, and Jessica Gasco, 4 of us have kind of really worked over the last 4 months to be much more active.
When we stopped getting our hazard pay, we saw it reflected on our March 1st paycheck, and several coworkers had wanted to strike, and we're like, I came up with a different idea, and I had talked to our leaders, and we decided as a team that we were going to hold some protests outside, and we did one on April 14th and another one on May the 5th, which was funny because that's when the surveyors were there too, which they saw us. And we have just been very transparent about everything that we've done as far as going to the units and getting people to sign up. And I've included everybody. I've never singled anyone out. If they had any questions, I answered them. And I still to this day continue to do that, which is why we've had such a great turnout with our membership, is because most people feel included, and they know that we are fighting for them, for their hazard pay, especially the staffing.
Hazard pay that was given to us, and it was stopped at the end of January. This was a victory win for the union that was, advocated by our state leaders. And when employees first got that paycheck with the lowered pay, really galvanized us, and I think that led to us having our first protest outside the workplace, which was something that I'm not familiar with doing. And then we gave interviews on local television stations and newspapers, and that sort of visibility got everybody talking on a kind of daily basis as to what the union does and can do for folks. What I wanted to share everybody before we asked them to join us, to let them know that how hard we were going to work for them, and they were very aware of all the things we were doing. We were busy on Zoom calls with legislators, trying to advocate for the legislations. We were going to political day in Raleigh, and gave interviews on the Raleigh Network News. And we had 2 protests outside our workplace. And then I think they know that we've been advocating for the things they care about, which is safe staffing and making sure enough folks were there, hazard pay, sort of fairness with the scheduling, and also this sort of new issue we brought up with trying to get the culture of fear and retaliation out of our hospital, and kind of ask administrative management folks to follow HR policies. And logistically, we ended up having tables at both entrances to the hospital, and generally, I think on most days we would sign up 10 to 15 folks, but I think we did almost 3 times as much that day. And this was from a lot of trust that was built up over the years, just working with folks and just them seeing how hard we were willing to work.
And then on July 14th, we had the open enrollment. And that's when a lot of people came up. They got to talk to me and Patel and Bartholomew and Dante, and they got to see exactly what the union was really about. And if they had any questions, which is why we got so many people to sign up and over 900 people to sign the safe staffing petition. And we're still going strong. We still get people to sign up continuously. We're still transparent. We also started the CRH advocacy line where there's no managers and only staff can call, which we've had success with that. We've actually had several people call in, and we've tried to resolve, we resolved 4 or 5 of their issues so far.
So there you have it. More of it. Grit, determination, perseverance. You can add self-sacrifice to this one. These are heroes doing heroes' work of organizing and acting in the people's interest. And speaking of which, in Virginia, UE has been organizing city workers in the Tidewater region who are trying to win recognition after that state overturned Jim Crow era bans on bargaining for municipal workers. The new Virginia bargaining law is very far from perfect. It requires a municipality to vote on whether it will allow collective bargaining. So we have a tough job to do. It's a twofold job. We have to simultaneously convince the boss to authorize collective bargaining while building majority support for the union. Dante Strabino will introduce leaders of our Virginia organizing project.
Greetings again, sisters, brothers, and siblings. Just north of the border here in North Carolina, we have an exciting historic campaign, as Brother Gene mentioned, in Virginia. It was just over a year ago on August 19th when 110 waste management workers in the city of Virginia Beach went on a one-day strike demanding hazard pay after having worked over 6 months in a pandemic without any recognition or necessary safety protections. UE showed up a few days later and accompanied them as they marched onto City Hall and eventually won a $1,500 hazard pay check for all essential workers. We've been digging in that organizing with these workers into a union and expanding the outreach beyond the waste management to include all 700 public works and public utilities workers, plus 200 workers in Parks and Rec and 300 in human services that do direct healthcare work for Medicare for the city of Virginia Beach. After initial huge meetings in the park, we were able to sign up a majority of the blue collar workers onto a petition demanding better pay, fairness, and a voice within the first 3 months. Then on November 17th, over 50 city workers hosted a rally and a press conference at City Hall, and 3 workers spoke to the city council meeting. It made the front page of the Virginia Pilot local newspaper. Shortly thereafter, in early December, we launched our Union Card campaign. This is all happening within a powerful historic moment as discussed in the resolution for public sector collective bargaining that the state of Virginia has finally overturned partially their historic racist ban on public sector collective bargaining. So effective May 1st of this year, local government workers have the opportunity for the first time in history to collectively bargain a union contract with their city managers. However, city council must first pass a resolution allowing that collective bargaining. The city of Virginia Beach is the largest municipality in the entire state of Virginia with the largest municipal workforce and also is a red city. It's the only city council with the Republican majority. It's mostly real estate developers getting wealthy off the tourist economy. Meanwhile, you have city workers such as sewer collector workers with CDLA licenses, driving heavy equipment, still making $11.50 per hour. We've been building a powerful community labor faith alliance to push the city council, including working with the firefighters union. We believe we now have the 6 votes we need on city council needed to pass a resolution, but the mayor is dragging his feet. Yet during our organizing campaign, even without collective bargaining, we have already won important gains, such as increasing their annual raises. The city manager was originally proposing 3%. We were able to squeeze them to get 4.5%. We also won 6 weeks back pay for a worker who was unjustly suspended. Similarly, we're organizing other city workers in nearby the city of Newport News, where over 400 city workers in public works and human services are organizing to also join the UE. In this Tidewater Southeast region of Virginia, with the highest concentration of Black workers in the state, there are over 4,000 municipal workers we could organize into our union and build a powerful addition to our UE Southern subregion. I want to thank project organizers Chris Hollis and Charles Brown, who have been grinding on the ground in these campaigns, doing amazing work. IR Karen Harden for her leadership. With this, I proudly introduce Brother Floyd Hines, Mike Fair, and Sister Christina Wilson Darren, who are some of our organizing committee leaders in these new exciting organizing campaigns in Virginia.
My name is Floyd Hines. I work public utilities. I've been there 37 years. We're fighting to get better wages, hazardous pay, things of that nature, things that we should have been getting all the time. They always speak about fire and rescue. My job is just as important as theirs. We're out 24 hours a day. While y'all in the bed, we're out making sure you get quality customer service. We keep your water flowing, water, sewer, things of that nature. And hazardous pay, we should be getting hazardous pay all the time. But you always speak of fire and rescue. Their job is not even more important than my job. And these are the things that we're fighting for. That's why we're trying to get this union.
Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Michael Fair, and I'm with the City of Newport News Public Works. The past few months, me and my co-workers, we've been working hard to unionize the Public Works Department. There's been a few reasons for the unionization push. A few of the big reasons are discipline. Currently, discipline is handled on a supervisor basis. You know, there's no set structure for the discipline. So a supervisor just disciplines his employees however he feels that day or however he feels about that employee. Whereas a union would really provide some structure and ensure that all employees are disciplined the same. Another thing would be the coronavirus pandemic. A union would help put some structure in place in regards to leave or a vaccine mandate. And lately, what I've been doing to push the unionization effort is, just going out and meeting with my coworkers. Whether I got to meet them off work or whether I got to come in 10 minutes early or take 10 minutes late. I've just been going out, inviting them to the meetings, preaching the benefits of the union and how things work better when we speak together.
For working with the City of Virginia Beach. I've been here for almost 17 years. I've been in 2 different sectors. I've worked with so many people that have worked so hard and they're truly underappreciated. They love the individuals that they work with, that they take care of. And I believe collective bargaining would help the staff for the City of Virginia Beach. And you're understaffed. So you rather, you stay with understaffing people. You have staff that have been here that are putting in for these full-time jobs that they're not getting them. They'll be having to go to other places to get, full-time jobs. It really doesn't benefit the clients that we work for when you're understaffed. And not just paying people, with the shift differential, night shift, versus evening shift. And it really it's a lot of work and strain on your body working with individuals in wheelchairs. It takes a toll on you. Outreach, we've been giving out postcards. We've been speaking to staff all over. We're coming together. It's coming slow, but we're getting there.
Who are we? We are the Virginia Beach City Workers Union.